Let's be honest, humans have always been a little obsessed with ourselves. Whether it's a Paleolithic handprint on a cave wall, Van Gogh painting his own tormented face 30 times, or the 400th selfie on your camera roll, we've always asked the same question: who am I, and how do I fit into the world around me? Art is one of the oldest mirrors we've had for that question. And in this video, we'll explore how artists across time have used creative expression to shape, question, and celebrate identity, personal, cultural, and collective. Anthropologists suggest that even Neolithic people were the first to imagine family trees, mapping who belonged to whom. Early humans carved or painted likenesses of themselves, trying to understand where they stood in their clan. Fast forward, and we're not so different. Today we post selfies, family portraits, and TikToks, digital updates to the same timeless impulse. See me, remember me, know me. Even children echo this when they draw pictures of themselves with their families. It's art as identity training wheels. So, whether it's charcoal on a cave wall or pixels on a screen, art is often step one in figuring out who we are. Some artists make self-exploration their life's work. Van Gogh painted over 30 self-portraits in just 3 years, documenting not just his face but his fluctuating mental state. Picasso constantly reinvented himself. His self-portraits track his Blue Period melancholy, then his Cubist revolution, and beyond. And Frida Kahlo turned her own body into a battleground of meaning, layering Mexican folk symbols, Catholic imagery, and her own physical pain into self-portraits that were both personal diary and political manifesto. Each shows us that self-portraiture isn't vanity, it's survival. A way of asking, if I put myself on the canvas, do I understand myself better? Do you? We like the story of the lone genius, the moody romantic hero scribbling away in solitude. Think Goya, Blake, or Delacroix. Their art was about breaking rules, insisting this is my vision. But for much of history, art was teamwork. In the Middle Ages and Baroque eras, huge commissions, cathedrals, altarpieces, palaces, were produced in workshops where apprentices painted drapery while masters handled faces. The work wasn't less meaningful because it wasn't individual. It was collective identity in action. Today, interestingly, we've come full circle. From Instagram collabs to artist residencies, creators are working together again, just like guilds of the past. Nations use art like a logo, visual branding for power and values. In the Kingdom of Benin, brass and ivory objects symbolize the divine authority of the Oba, the king. These weren't portraits of individuals, they were portraits of continuity and kingship itself. In the early United States, John Trumbull struggled with how to paint George Washington. Was he a kingly figure, a democratic leader? The solution, a matter-of-fact likeness, rejecting the glamour of European royal portraiture in favor of something humbler, but still heroic. Art becomes propaganda, but also reassurance. It tells citizens, this is who we are together. Cultural identity is built on shared histories. Artists tap into this heritage to remind us where we've come from. South Korean artist Kim Suja uses fabric bundles called batari to symbolize everyday life, memory, and migration. Simple cloth becomes a metaphor for carrying culture itself. Meanwhile, in Russia, identity is shouted through folk costumes, orthodox icons, and onion-domed cathedrals. And yet, Russia's rulers often turned to Western Europe for prestige, adopting Baroque styles imported from Paris. It's the paradox of cultural identity, sometimes pride, sometimes imitation, often both at once. Art also challenges us to rethink gender. Contemporary painter Kehinde Wiley places young black men in poses once reserved for reclining female nudes. The effect? Both elegant and destabilizing, asking who gets to be vulnerable, powerful, or beautiful. In India, artist Tejal Shah collaborated with Hijra women, members of a third gender community long recognized in South Asia, to create dreamlike portraits of how they envision themselves, glamorous and powerful. Similar traditions exist worldwide, like the Fa'afafine in Samoa, showing that gender has always been more fluid than Western binaries suggest. Art also makes class visible. Royal portraits, like Goya's depiction of Queen Maria Luisa, emphasized wealth and rank, often at the expense of personality. She's less a person than a symbol of dynastic power. Contrast that with Honoré Daumier, who in the third-class carriage painted working-class Parisians crammed into railcars, weary from endless labor. The soft light on their faces makes them dignified, even in hardship. Where Goya's queen asserts privilege, Daumier's carriage quietly pleads for compassion. Humans are social. We thrive in groups, and art has always reflected that. From Renaissance guilds to 20th century artist collectives, belonging provides identity as much as individuality does. Even today, hashtags and online communities serve as the digital equivalent of guild banners, uniting creators across the globe. Finally, identity is deeply personal and fragile. In ancient Palmyra, funerary steles blended Greco-Roman style with Persian elements, each portrait etched with names and features to preserve memory. But in 2015, ISIS destroyed many of these works, attempting to erase history itself. This is why art matters. It holds identity against the forces of forgetting or erasure. When we lose the art, we lose the memory of the people who made it. From the first handprints on cave walls to today's Instagram feeds, art has always been about identity, individual, cultural, national, and collective. It asks, who am I? Who are we? And how do we want to be remembered? And maybe the next time you snap a selfie, you'll realize you're not just making a picture, you're adding your mark to humanity's oldest, most enduring art project, the search for self.